Hello, hello, hello. This is very, very late. There's a new One Piece chapter, and although I was super pumped and excited for it because we've just returned from the long hiatus and shit is crazy, I just had too much stuff going on this week and I only got to it now. But, later is better than never. We have here a color spread advertising the Netflix show, which there is now 2 trailers of. The first trailer I thought looked really bad. Like, just very amateurish and not very compellingly shot. A lot of very flat, uninteresting scenes, and I was just like, geez. You could tell so much love was put into some things, like the sets, and I think the characters were very well casted and like all the costuming and stuff was as good as I could have hoped. But it just looked like really boring first draft, no real experimentation or boldness, cinematography, and direction, which of course is hard to judge from a trailer, but a trailer should be able to accentuate and highlight directorial choices. You choose scenes that have interesting direction to put in the trailer to make the show seem interesting. And they just didn't. It seemed like very, very bog standard. And then I was, pretty disappointed. Not that I had, particularly high hopes for this. I always thought it was very silly and unnecessary to be making a live action show from this, but whatever, that's what the gods of money decided was, to be made. But I thought, oh, maybe it'll be okay. It seemed like quite a lot of love was being put into it, and I knew Oda was really involved, so very disappointed after the first trailer. Then I watched the second trailer, and it grew on me a little bit. I'm still not, totally sold, but there was, a few more scenes, a few kind of, iconic scenes where they basically just shot it like the manga. And that's not the most bold or creative thing in the world, but it's better than just shooting it like every single other show, which is what I was worried it was going to look like. So that made me a little more curious because I kind of felt like, okay, at least now I'm going to be interested in how they translate things to the screen. And it's not just going to be in a way that I've seen a million times before. It may be in a way that instead reflects some qualities that I really like in the manga. And, it's just such a nostalgic part of the story to explore and such beloved iconic scenes and character introductions and moments. And I don't know. I think I'm going to try watching it now. I can't promise that I'll get through the whole thing, but we'll see. We'll see. And maybe I'll make a video about it. I don't know. If that's something that would interest people, let me know. I think I'll have a lot of takes on it. That's for sure. Anyways, yeah, so that's that. Let's move on to the chapter proper. This is called Final Lesson. Lesson 1. An old man and a baby have been left behind on a ravenous island of beasts. You are on a rowboat that can only hold 2. What do you do? Leave the old man! He's half dead already! Wow, what the heck? I like that there's kind of what you would think of as the wise answer. Oh, the lesson is that it's not about taking either one of them, but sacrificing yourself. And Kobe immediately says that, and then Garp is like, no. Save the old man. But I think this is going to be painfully relevant here, where they're in a situation where Garp is going full out at war with Aokiji and the rest of Blackbeard's crew on this island, and maybe the lesson is, leave the old man. He's half dead already. Save as many young people as you can. I don't know. Okay, meanwhile, we saw a little bit of this. They went to Amazon Lily. They deployed some seraphims. Oh, this was before that. This was when Kobe got kidnapped by Blackbeard. He got captured. Yeah, they're getting hauled off to Pirate Island. All out war, maybe? I'm up for a scrap if you are. I like that Blackbeard says scrap. I don't know what word he used in Japanese, but shout out Stephen Paul, because I can only imagine scrap is the correct English word choice. Blackbeard is a scrapper for sure. So yeah. Captain Kobe's in Sword. Vice Admiral... What's this guy's name? I want to say it's like... Strawberry? No. Strawberry's the guy with the really tall hat. This is Vice Admiral... I can't remember. Shoot. I used to be able to name like really minor side characters like this, but I haven't done a complete series reread in a while, so it's more challenging for me. Okay. I'm able to trade that battleship and 800 sailors on board for me as a captive. Okay. So this is how Kobe arrives at Fullaled. This shot of the big hand is so good, by the way. So thrilling. Just, I don't know, man. We're 1,088 chapters deep, and Oda can still come up with stuff that not only, you know, still feels like scary and radical and terrifying in the context of like power levels and like how are they going to deal with that? How can our heroes beat a friggin' island? But it's also just so delightful, just so like fresh, like so funny. I guess it's kind of similar to Pika in Dressrosa, who could manipulate stone. It's not such a different attack, but the scale of it is way huger, first off, and then being accompanied by the skull head like laughing at them and other stuff crawling up out of the island is so silly. Okay, how can they stop this? Will someone stop this? Huge hands come down and crush hundreds of sailors and civilians at once. What should we do, Vice Admiral Garp? You boys can save them. Give you an opportunity. You destroy the hand of that island monster. Protect the ship from the falling rubber. Make sure those two aren't interfered with. Okay, it's a tall order. It's a tall order, but I would imagine that these three in their training by Garp have received many such tall orders before. I'm especially interested in how Kobe is going to destroy the hand. Because I wouldn't say that that's Kobe's wheelhouse from what we've seen. We've seen him do like 6 power stuff. He seems like a very capable like one-on-one fighter. He's got like a lot of good like battlefield tactics and stuff, and he has like that heroicness to him that allows him to step up in dangerous situations with like confidence and stuff. But in terms of just raw destructive output, he's gonna blow up this giant stone hand that's like way bigger than Garp's ship. How can he do it? How can he do it? Be decisive. Snap judgment. Okay. Do you have bombs or something? Yeah, nobody knows. How is Kobe gonna do it? It's got to be some sort of like hacky explosion or something. Maybe it's some sort of trick of like hacky devil fruit nullification. That if the island fruit is like a Logia fruit, for all we know it is. Who knows? I don't freaking know. This fruit makes no sense. Maybe he can like disrupt it, the connection, and then it just turns back into normal island and it just falls. Something like that. It's unclear if Garp is even picturing anything, or he just assumes Kobe can come up with something. By the way, when I say, oh, this fruit makes no sense, that's not like a complaint. That's not like, ugh, Oda, write better. That's awesome. I love that, again, just these delightfully absurd powers as we just move up the ranks of power scaling. It's just, I don't know, man. Or like the alcohol fruit. What does it do? It could be any number of things. Does he turn into booze if he needs to? Is it a Logia fruit? We don't know. It's just so cool. It reflects such like a faith in the readers that after like 30 years or whatever of, I don't know, man, here's some wacky power, and then, oh shit, that's actually strong. Going all the way from like Oh, he's like made out of sand. Is that really so scary? Oh, he's like really made out of sand. That's actually incredibly hard to fight. All the way up now to, yeah, he just turns into islands. Yeah, okay. Like we've accepted so much over the years that we don't really need to be told, this is the logic behind the power. It's just like, all right, I guess we're fighting the whole island now. I'll have to just make do. Hand big enough to crush a battleship. Okay, and this is Helmeppo's task. Knocking cannonballs away. Very good, very good. Good luck, good luck. And again, Garp in the last chapter. Devastatingly wounded. But still fast enough to splatter Kuzan. I'm still... None of this is making me think any less that Kuzan is undercover. Because, like, they want to make it an impactful twist. So they're going to just, like, layer on the so-called evidence. And it's not like any of this is beyond the pale. Garp's going to have to take a few scratches. Kuzan lost a leg at one point. They ruined Punk Hazard. These are all worthy sacrifices to get him that undercover with, like, the most dangerous pirate in the world. Uh-oh. Damn. Dude, Garp is so awesome. I think if you had told me Garp is gonna get some, like, fight scenes and he's gonna be, like, super nimble, incredibly fast, just bouncing off of buildings and throwing wild haymakers that are, like, exploding big chunks of islands or whatever, I would have been like, I don't know, maybe a little disappointed in concept, because I kind of like the idea of Garp being this old man. And yeah, he's still absurdly strong, but he maybe doesn't have, like, the virality or whatever of his youth. And it's more like, if he's lined up in the right spot, he's going to be able to deliver, like, a hugely devastating punch. But we can't expect him to, like, kind of keep up in the top echelon of fighting. And then, of course, no, he is a totally nimble what word am I even trying to say here? He's like a young man when he fights, it seems. And the idea, of course, that he used to be even stronger, sure. His legacy lines up with that. The thing, though, is, like, I don't care. It's so awesome. I would have been so wrong to be like, oh, that's a little disappointing. I would have been so wrong to be like, no, I want Garp to be this, like, old man archetype. This is just so awesome. And yes, of course, Pizarro thought that the attack on the ship would distract Garp. But Garp is trusting his subordinates, and now he can finish off Pizarro and the whole island fruit. Okay, so this was Garp's plan, I guess? That he knew once he punched the head, it would cause some, like, disruption. I love the name of this attack, too, Galaxy Divide. So cool. Such a huge scale, United States of Smash what? It also reminds me of the song Galaxy Collapse, which is, like, a huge banger. Totally unrelated in terms of genre and stuff, but yeah, it's a Toho remix and it goes super hard. Look it up, Galaxy Collapse. Okay, so the real Pizarro taking damage in the same spot. So it looks like he kind of drives it like G Gundam, that he turns on Island Fruit, and then whatever he does, the island does. Sure. I'll live up to expectations. I'm angry. Watch this. Kobe learns fast, but he's always hurt. I see those bandages on his hands. Kobe's injuries? You see them on his hands and shoulders? Less talent at fighting other people. So 10 times the effort isn't enough. It needs to be 100 or 200. Don't put in the work. I can't keep I like seeing Kobe's old design in the flashbacks. It's not like retconned. He just became very muscular and his chin became more accented and stuff. Every single night. He punches his fist bloody against the battleship bags. Ooh, so no tricks. No, like, hacky manipulation necessarily. No, oh, it was because Garp distracted him and whatever. Kobe's just gonna punch this thing. That's how strong he is. Boys can save them. Nice. Sig nasty. Pizarro getting wrecked. He's got to de-Gundam. You've got to strip yourself of taking the damage of the thing. It's incredible. Where did you gain that kind of strength? This is pretty sweet. It's not, the most powerful thing we've seen in the entire history of One Piece. This is something that probably a lot of S-tier characters could handle. But it's more realizing that Kobe has ascended to that S-tier. That I think that Oda is just going to start peppering scenes like this in. Garp gets moments like this. Shanks gets moments like this. Kobe just got a moment like this where we get a glimpse of just how strong they are these days and like how much they've improved since the last time we saw them fight. And it's all in anticipation that once we see them again in our long-awaited ultimate climactic final battle showdown, the greatest chapter of all time, that Oda's been building up to for the last few decades, we can have some expectation of what sort of impact they can make, and we can get hype about it, and we can feel devastated when an even more powerful foe comes along and all that good stuff. All right. That was amazing. You did it. Split that huge mountain of an arm. Once Garp is on board. But will Garp come on board? Come back quickly, Vice Admiral. Nah, he's like, I'm gonna have to stay here and fight Kuzan. Yeah. One day what happened here will be a major threat to all pirates. Keep moving onward. All of you are the future of the Navy, yeah. The old man whose life was already near an end sacrifices himself. Aokiji being the one to kill him. Kind of like a Snape kills Dumbledore situation here. Sorry for anyone who somehow that's a spoiler to you. But in Harry Potter, that the bad guys were going to kill Dumbledore. And then at the last second, Snape kills Dumbledore instead. But Snape was secretly a good guy, and he just used that to, double down the enemy's trust in him. I think similarly here, Aokiji is the one to finish off Garp. Because that, removes any shadow of a doubt that he's on Blackbeard's side. And maybe Garp was just dead anyways. It's not like I think Garp went in there being like, oh, I'm going to sacrifice myself. But I think once Shiryu there stabbed him and you realize just how strong the enemy's forces are and you considered, if I don't occupy them, they're just going to go after the ship, which is full of the future of the Navy. Yeah, I don't know. Pretty brutal. But I like that we're getting a chapter so focused on, the Navy's heroics, right? It's so... it would be so simple to just have the world government and the entirety of the Navy be the enemy, but I like that right up until the end, they're keeping alive this idea of, no, the Navy can be heroic. The Marines can save people. The Marines can be on the correct side sometimes. And I'm just really excited to see how this sort of ambiguity is resolved. If we can ever get to a side where it is a point where it is every good guy teams up with every bad guy. No, every good guy teams up with every other good guy to fight every bad guy. Because I think that, would be the most cathartic and all-out finale. The next day's headlines spoke of the safe return of the Navy's young hero, Captain Kobe, the disappearance on Pirate Island of the legendary hero, Vice Admiral Garp, and The incident in which Straw Hat Luffy, Emperor of the Sea, barricaded himself within Future Island Egghead. We are returning to Egghead at last! Which, after seeing all of these globetrotting adventures, you're kind of like, alright. But no, Egghead is actually full of crazy stuff. If you don't remember, on one of those battleships is one of the 5 Elder Stars, who we finally saw a little glimpse of their power during Sabo's flashback. Now, in the flashback, they turned into, like, giant shadow beast things, but I kind of feel like that's maybe part of Eames' power, and that whatever power the 5 Elder Stars have outside of course, you know, their social power as well, may not be revealed yet. I still want to see them have, like the death fruit. The fruit that just kills you. That Saturn J. Garcia, since Saturn was the god of death, that's like a good fit. Or like, what else is good? Like, I don't know, it's hard to beat death fruit. But I don't know, we'll see. Okay. Let's return to Egghead in just a few days, because I read this so late. Hee hee hee. See you then.